once again, it's just a real tribute to our servicemen and women and our intelligence services. But at the end of the day, we continue to be terrorist target number one. And this is the closing of one chapter in a very long history and book of Al-Qaeda's war against us. And we've seen it in the hearings, so that we still have a very soft underbelly that's not secure. 10 years after 9/11, whether it be radio operability, interoperability, the fact that JFK Air Train being unsecure, the George Washington Bridge, even the Port Authority bus terminal. So very serious questions. It's a happy day that this scumbag in chief who killed 3,000 souls is dead. But the war continues, and we have to heighten security going into the 10-year anniversary of 9/11.
What can you do on a state level? What is there anything that you're thinking about doing to sort of, highlight the fact that this is not the end?
The most important thing that I can do as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security is really draw attention to the fact that this is not Kansas, and we have a federal Department of Homeland Security that is being used as a pork purveyor for states and cities at a much lower security risk. We've got to work together as Republicans and Democrats across the aisle to draw attention to the fact that nearly 10 years after 9/11, we have not followed through with the dictates of the 9/11 Commission. And Osama bin Laden, dead or alive, the war against Al-Qaeda and their war against us continues. New York City and the metropolitan area, the suburbs, continue to be terrorist target number one. And whether it be our soft underbelly in the JFK Air Train or the Port Authority bus terminal, our transit and our communications corridors, we are not secure the way we need to be. And while we've made enormous gains as a state and as a city, we are not a priority like we should be at the highest levels.
Today the governor said that, he's reached out. All of the state agencies are on alert. They're working together. But it sounds like to me that you don't think enough is being done. What should be done?
Unfortunately, I give you an example. We had a Homeland Security hearing where we had various members come before us and say that even nearly 10 years after 9/11, forget about radio interoperability, which was a dictate of the 9/11 Commission, their radios don't have operability. So when we actually, Eyewitness News went over under the Port Authority bus terminal just a couple weeks ago, a week after my hearing, and there were shacks that built, constructed in the aftermath of 9/11, they're unmanned. So sure, we have to heighten security, but above and beyond that, we cannot allow the passage of time or the death of Osama bin Laden to lull us into a sense of complacency. This is a long war, and there are people, we all praise this death for good reason, but there are individuals throughout this world who seek to harm the United States that will use Osama bin Laden's death as a rallying call in the 10-year anniversary of 9/11 as a reason to really come together and hurt the United States of America, most certainly probably through New York City, and we've got to take that very seriously.
Anything you're doing to try and get the federal government to maybe give us some more funding?
I've put together not only a legislative package, but I put together a letter that's signed by every member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. We're reaching out to the entire legislature. We've sent that to the President and to every member of Congress, asking that they put radio operability and interoperability and really the securing of our soft underbelly in New York City at the top of their agenda, because we have a federal Department of Homeland Security, started under Bush, has been continued under President Obama, that's become a pork purveyor for states and cities at much lower security risk. So the 9/11 Commission said, look, you got to fix the radio interoperability issue. It's still not fixed at the highest of levels. Now that letter sits on the President's desk, and we demand that it be fixed.
What does that mean exactly to someone who doesn't know what radio interoperability means?
We lost many souls on 9/11 who responded to try to help, to save lives, and their radios didn't function. They didn't function in between agencies, and now we're finding out that not only has that problem not been fixed, but the MTA has testified, officers with the Port Authority have testified that they have radios that might as well be a brick on their side, because in certain subways and in certain buildings, those radios don't work. They're actually using their personal cell phones in many instances. So while the NYPD has moved forward, we have agencies who are actually cannibalizing systems that are used in other countries that are decades old. Absolute abomination to think that we're doing this in New York City, which is terrorist target number one.